you see them trying to grind,
Right.
and you just like, hey, let me lift you up. Let me help lift you up because
Mm-hmm.
I'm lifting you up. Okay, I know. I seen it live. Okay.
Oh gosh, but yeah, it's been a busy week. This is actually, I think, my busiest week. I think I'm doing like 25 one-on-ones this week, so it's been my busiest one with working a regular job and all this.
Yeah. So I've been like I said, I think how many I have this week. So I have this week. It's today's March 23rd. So
Yeah.
this week, so I actually canceled some appointments and blocked my schedule out. So I have 27 this week, and somehow I already have 25 next week. I'm just like, man. Then the week after that, I already have two, and then the next week after that, I already have one. Somebody scheduled something like that far in advance. I didn't realize. I just now realized that.
I'm starting to get farther in advance, especially now with like packages. Like people can go out and they can schedule like the individual appointments like farther out. And some are doing it just to make sure they get on the calendar.
Yeah, it's cool though. I like doing one-on-ones. Like I said, it's I like changing lives and stuff like that. I see this. Is that Chris Cass? Is that Chris Cass right there, Kristen Swartz?
Yeah, that is.
Chris Cass, what's going on, lady? How you doing?
Yeah, that's why she's on here. Yeah, that's awesome. I had some really good one-on-ones the other day, just like kind of like seeing like the light turn on of like people like understanding and like getting down to like the actual truth of like the getting underneath of like the fantasy to actually know like, hey, this is the story. Like this is actually what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's cool. Like I said, I like doing the one-on-ones where people just like they kind of just take a step back and they're like, I never thought of it that way. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It all boils down to this one moment, and it's like, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. When you ask one question, they just look back at you kind of like blank of like, oh crap, like I just figured that out, you know?
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. I think sometimes when people ask you questions, like ask me questions, I feel like when they ask me questions, they also answer their own question while they're asking it. They're like, well, I feel like I just answered their question. I just said it out loud, and I feel like I'm silly for thinking that.
Right. Yeah, they'll like ask it and be like, oh, well, you're probably going to say this. And they're like trying to answer it for you because they already know, because they've seen like, I got on a one-on-one today. And as I got on, I heard my own voice and they were like watching my YouTube while they were waiting for me to come on. I was like, wait a second. It's funny.
I thought I had somebody one time. I had somebody watch one of your YouTube videos. It was like, Raw Motivation said this real quick. Let me. And they just played your video. I was like, oh, did he now?
Yeah, I definitely have several people that are like, I did a one-on-one with Lee, and I wanted to talk to you next. You know, it's kind of funny.
Yeah. I'll send people to you and to talk to you. I was like, look, Raw Motivation does this. I try to send people to Cluster B. I don't think she does them that much anymore, though. I don't think she does. She started doing them, but there's like she took them off.
I was thinking the other day, I was like, sometimes like I feel like some people when they talk to you, you're kind of like the one that like shakes them up and like slaps them around of like, hey, like this is what's actually going on, and then they come over and they're like, okay, what do I do now? You know. It's funny.
I think can I see these questions?
Do you see questions?
Oh yeah, I can see them. I can see them.
All right. And if you have a huge fight and they blocked you, is it permanent or will they unblock you once they calm down? I mean, it depends on the huge fight. I mean, a lot of times if they block you, it might be because they're going to another supply or they're going to, be with someone else for a period of time, even if it's just like a period of time. But typically like the blocking you part is them trying to gain control back over you, like you coming back and apologizing or whatever it might be.
And that's how I feel like too. I feel like blocking you is kind of like, especially on social media, it's kind of like the silent treatment on social media. It's kind of like them getting they go dark on you, and then you don't get the answers to your questions. And plus, like Ben said, in addition, it gives them an excuse to kind of move on and do what they want to do to actually try to replace you. I feel like they go silent. They're actively trying to replace you with somebody else. They're looking for more like you said, permanent. They're looking for permanent supply to replace you with. That's maybe more amenable to their manipulation and their tactics and things like that.
Yeah, for sure. Learned so much from both. I've never dealt with a narcissist until my ex. Never understood that it was and it's a real thing. Yeah, no, for sure.
Well,
I'm glad you've learned a lot. We try to be on here to our goal, and we both have a kind of like our own catchphrases, I guess. But like our goal is really like my goal is to help bring awareness, growth, healing, and change. And yours is somewhere around there.
yeah, I just want to look. I'm here to raise awareness for narcissistic personality disorder, get more people into therapy, and also in the process of doing that, help validate the victims and survivors of the disorder if it's possible. That's what I try to do. I'm not here to try to diagnose people, to educate people from a psychological perspective on it, because I don't have those credentials to do that. I've done research on it, but I can't dig into the psychology of things like Kerry McAvoy can do. or Menji, what they can do. I can't.
Right. I know Carrie doesn't do one-on-ones. Does Manjeet? I haven't looked actually.
I'm not 100% certain. They might.
I'll have to ask him. What do we got?
Oof. Oof.
Yeah.
You 37 weeks pregnant. I just can't do it anymore. I left 3 months ago. So you kind of in the zone right now. Well, I'm pretty sure if he's threatening you, does he want a baby? Because I feel like he's trying to make you have some kind of miscarriage or stressful pregnancy. He makes some kind of high risk pregnancy right there by stressing you out. I'm going to blackmail you. I mean, blackmail you with what? Can it ruin your life, or just your reputation a little bit? Whatever he's trying to ruin your life, like blackmail you with. Just is it life threatening blackmail, or is it just kind of hurt your feelings blackmail to your friends and family? Determine that, because sometimes they'll use that to try to get into the delivery room. Like, I want to see my baby born. And you help me from that.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to let that stress affect you in a negative way, for sure.
Hold on, my ex is threatening to blackmail.
Found out my ex cheated on me and he kicked me out, then blamed me, I guess, for his cheating. Said his new relationship is what healthy looks like. Or looks okay. Yeah, I mean, a lot of times like a narcissist, like once they kick you out, like they'll change it around. They'll twist the story. They'll rewrite their history to be able to say like, oh, like it wasn't me, it was them. Like all my exes were crazy. All my exes, were narcissists. That's what the narcissist a lot of times will say, and then they get to a new relationship and it doesn't matter if it's actually healthy or not. They'll tell you it is. They'll portray it. They'll demonstrate it on social media and to everybody else. But in reality, like they're not changing.
I also say I always put an emphasis on what they say and how they say it. Like look what you just said. Said his new relationship is what healthy looks like. He didn't say it's what it actually is like. He said what it looks like. From the outside looking in, it could look healthy. It could look like the optimal relationship. It could look like relationship goals, but actually internally is it? Because you see his patterns based on what he did to you. Those are patterns right there. That could it stop with some therapy, something like that? With some therapy, some determination, could that stop? But if he's just out here in the open world, no, that is not gonna stop. He's targeting you to try to make you feel like you were the problem and that you were the reason that he cheated. It's just like you weren't doing good. You weren't doing enough for me. So I cheat instead of just leaving you. I cheated on you, and now I'm with this other person we're healthy. We're in a healthy relationship. Okay, you can believe it if you want to, Kiana.
Someone asks, is it recommended to tell the narcissist you're a narcissist?
So this is kind of the touchy-feely stuff right here, because I mean this is kind of not touchy-feely, but like my wife called me a narcissist, like literally to my face. She kind of yelled it at me. She's like, you're a fucking narcissist. I'm like, this is in 2017. I was just like, I thought narcissists were just conceited people, just cocky people. I was just like, a narcissist? Like, you're a damn narcissist. Like, I'm going into it. I'm like, it takes you 3 hours to get ready. I can get ready in 15 minutes. So you worried about how you look more than I worry about how I look. That's on you. You're a narcissist. I'm a good person. Yeah. And then she left. After I was talking junk to her. But typically they're going to call you a narcissist back and not, be introspective and look into it like I did, or like, maybe like Ben himself did as well. So you got to kind of get into that.
Yeah, I think a lot of times it's not recommended to tell them or accuse them of being a narcissist, because a lot of times it'll like blow back in your face. Like it'll, come back at you, or they'll use that as far as like a more manipulation. If anything, maybe it's something to identify like the things that they're doing, but not necessarily like the label, because I feel like the label a lot of times activates other things.
Yep. Especially nowadays, because the way society is set up, narcissists is just kind of thrown around a lot. So nobody wants to actually attach themselves to being a narcissist.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to do that. That's just kind of
right.
It's just like you pretty much calling yourself a bad person in today's society.
Yeah, there's a couple of examples, kind of same thing. Threw it back at him. He says, "I'm a narcissist." Yeah. Yep. Definitely made all his exes seem like they're the problem.
All my exes are crazy. Even the one he cheated on.
Hey, Jules, hello.
What's going on, Jules? How you doing? What's going on, lady? Hope you're doing well. Life is crazy right now, Jules. Hearts with Jules.
Ex-partner has done his due diligence with the social media smear campaign and posted about narcissism. Huh. So he's actually bringing in narcissism with it.
Said my ex has done his due diligence with the social media smear campaign and posted about narcissism. Oh, about you? Yeah. So actually, one of my good friends is actually an undiagnosed, just blatantly unaware narcissist, and he's trying to paint his ex-wife, who as a narcissist herself. And he's clearly a narcissist. Like, he doesn't see his kids, he doesn't do anything for them literally at all. He might see his kids once every 2-3 months, and takes enough pictures to stave him over for 2-3 months until his photos run out. But he's on Facebook and stuff like that, painting a picture that she's a narcissist. I'm like, bro, I just look at him and just watch him. I'm just like, bro, you just so blind and delusional. And he's just like literally following all the steps of a narcissist. Like, he got a young girl. He's like nearly my age. I'm 36. He's like 33, 34. And he has like literally a 20-year-old girlfriend that's just oblivious to shit. So she don't know what's going on. She believes everything he says. I'm just like, even today, somebody on my personal Facebook tagged me in some narcissist stuff. They're like, you need to watch Lee Hammond. He know about narcissism. And he was in the comment section like, the best thing a narcissist ever did for me was divorce me. I was like, bro, I didn't say nothing to him. I just be ignoring this stupid shit because they so oblivious that they'll try to blame everybody, and they'll say it to whoever will listen to them.
Mm-hmm. Very true. Does mirroring the narcissistic person, raging back, giving the silent treatment, etc., drive them to a final discard, or they take it as a challenge? I would definitely say with the rage, for sure, that would be more as like a challenge, and you'd be fixing to probably get hurt with a lot of narcissists. Like, I'd be very, very, very careful about that. Silent treatment, if it's silent treatment as far as like gray rocking, how I've kind of stood on gray rocking is gray rocking works, I think 50% of the time. It just depends on your narcissist. It depends on like what's going on with them. Sometimes gray rocking will get them to the place where they lose interest. They move on. They go someplace else. Other times gray rocking just pisses them off even more.
Yeah, I feel like, meeting rage would only cause like a rage bomb. I just like, I feel like a lot of people ask questions that they want to match the narcissistic person's energy to defeat them. Mm-hmm. Like it's a duel. Like y'all both have swords and you're like just going towards and trying to stab each other. I'm like, that's not a battle. You don't want to get into a battle with a narcissistic person, especially if they're violent people.
Right. It's kind of like you're trying to get in a battle with someone who's constantly changing the rules. There's not really an option for you to win.
Yeah. I just feel like in that situation right there, you kind of gotta, yikes. I'm not battling nobody.
Mm-hmm. Wow, there's like a bunch of comments since then.
Comments flying through.
There you go. Is the narcissist really believing that they're happy with a new supply? If they aren't self-aware, they keep repeating, expecting a different outcome. Yeah, I'd say a lot of times they keep repeating, expecting a different outcome, because when they come out, when they get discarded or they discard another person, then they have to change the story. They have to change like the the thought process of what happened of like, oh, well, it wasn't me. It was like I was the victim. Like this person left me or this person made it awful for me. And so a lot of times they go into the next relationship thinking like, oh, maybe this will be better. Maybe this person will fix me. Maybe this will let me be less weird or slightly more normal or anything like that. And, you know, they might get into the new section thinking like, oh, they're going to be happy with a new supply. But ultimately they're not, because they're not dealing with the triggers inside themselves. They're not dealing with themselves and the issues that that's causing in every relationship that they'll be in.
Yeah. So I feel like, moving forward, if they are actually with the new supply, they want to make it seem like they're the happiest people on the planet. They're going to try to feign happiness and try to make sure that they feel happy. Because I know in situations like this, even before I got married, I was doing that type of stuff. I would move on to somebody else and just like, I thought I was happy. You know, just looking back, was I happy? In a moment, I thought I was. But, just looking back, I was like, nah, it wasn't really happiness. That was more along the lines of however the previous relationship ended. That's how I was I would like say I was living through social media, or I was living through other people, hoping they told the other person how happy I was. Like, hey, he's happy as hell. Like, I don't know what you did. I don't know what that new girl doing to him, but he happy.
Right.
I wanted people to say that, but who knows if they did. I was hoping they did.
Yeah. Baron, thanks so much. That was a pretty cool song that I found. I think I shared that with you, right? The Narcissist song.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was really good. Can you elaborate on how narcissists will actually manipulate the therapist if the victim suggests couples counseling? Did you guys ever do couples counseling like early on? Or is that like something you suggested or anything?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Oh, so we did couples counseling. So we've been together. I mean, we've been together for like 10 years almost now, but we've been married since 2015.
Right.
The last time she left was April of 2020. And we did marriage counseling in like May of that year. We did like 2 or 3 sessions of marriage counseling. I've been in therapy the whole time. So,
right.
But we did marriage counseling. I feel like that helped us out, but only because I was already in solo counseling. I was already working on myself. And that's what I tell people, like, if you're with a narcissist, like, marriage counseling is not the end all be all. They have to be in individual counseling. And also you need to look inward and maybe do some counseling too. And then you come together in marriage counseling with a narcissist, toxic person, whatever, because like you can work on each individual unit, but to come together, you have to work on each separate piece. You can't just work on the unit if both pieces are damaged. One piece got to, is flicked like this, and the other piece is solid. You don't come together correctly. So it takes more than just, in marriage counseling, you can tell the marriage counselor if they're not well versed in narcissism, it's easy to manipulate them because all you do is play the good guy. He's like, I'm here to listen and take it in. It's simple.
I don't know how many people I've talked to where they've done like couples counseling and they get in the room with the counselor and they just look over and like, who is this person that's talking? Because they have no clue, how that person is being portrayed. Being portrayed as like nothing like they are in their relationship. So like, I think it's key. So like before my wife and I even did any kind of couples counseling, like she was in counseling for, I don't know, probably close to like 2 years, year and a half. And I was in counseling for close to like a year at that point before we decided to work on it together. But like, I think a lot of people jump to like couples counseling like first, and really that's more or less like later on, like not necessarily like the end, but that's like when both people are actually in the same spot of growing and becoming more healthy so they can come together, like you were saying.
So when you come together couples counseling, I feel like that's when you work on the communication. When both people have worked on the other issues that they have going on within themselves, that's the couples counseling when you come through to work on communication and listening to the other person. I have a problem listening. I'm just like, look, I'm doing this with a family. I'm trying to be successful and stuff, to take care of the family as a whole, that type of stuff right there. But like, coming together in couples counseling actually help me like listen. And most narcissists, toxic people, whatever, don't want to go to couples counseling because like you have to have most times you have to be silent and listen to the other person and say what's wrong with you, and who wants to sit through that.
And with couples counseling, like a lot of times, I think couples counseling, a lot of people think like, oh, like that's for the couple to come and work together, but that's like coming with the mindset of that both parties want the marriage to work. And like when you do that early on with a narcissist, like they don't care because they don't care to start off with.
Yeah, Somebody said my counselor made me hug my abuser. Yikes!
Yeah.
That stood out to me just now.
Why do narcs choose people who are so much younger than them? My ex was almost exactly 10 years older than me. Huh.
So me personally, I think a lot of narcissists, toxic people, whatever, will go after younger people because they're easier to manipulate. You don't have especially if I'm 30 and you're 20, you're 19, you don't have a lot of learned life experience, so you don't know you know what's right and wrong, but you don't know what the red flags look like. So
Right.
you'll miss the red flags, or I can talk you off of their red flag, make you seem like it's a green flag, you know. But me personally, I wouldn't go out there. I mean, if I ever became single again on this planet, I would go out there older woman. That's just me, y'all. Not no young girls, but
No, I agree.
to each his own.
Any tips to get the narc to agree to a settlement for custody child support would be helpful. I feel like the key lies in the NDA.
In non-disclosure agreement, do y'all have an NDA for what? Any tips to get an narc to agree to a settlement for custody child support would be helpful for me. I mean, what is he trying to hide? What is he kind of trying to keep? I feel like with the NDA, I feel like reputation is the most important thing. So I feel like he or she is trying to, trying to hide what they did or affect their reputation in any type of way, especially if they're maybe a public figure or something like that. So
yeah,
become a good.
I feel like I was talking to someone the other day who was going through like trying to figure out like the child custody support and stuff like that, and almost like trying to figure out like how do we like help manipulate that to a better way to make it safer for the child. And it's almost like trying to figure out a way where the narcissist can feel like they win, but you still get more time with the kids.
Mm-hmm.
For that, it seemed in her situation it boiled down to figuring out how to get him more money, because she said money wasn't the issue. And I was like, well, if that's the case, let's figure out how we can make it a win for him where you get the kids more.
Mm-hmm. So I tell people read the book How to Win Friends and Influence People, because I feel like that book helps out a lot of times, because like with narcissistic people, they want to feel like they've won. They just do. They want to feel like they won for some reason. Um, so how to win friends and influence people teaches people how to kind of get to the point where it's like a win-win situation, where you make the other person feel like they've won, but you've actually won. You got what you wanted. Maybe they feel like they got what they wanted, but you actually got what you wanted, and in the end. So, because like in that book, they go in there, they go into companies and try to make the company more productive. It's like, hey guys, you guys been working so good, we're going to give you guys a 30-hour work week, and they get so happy that they work harder than what they were doing in the 40-hour work week, and the production goes up. So let's work hard to get the job done in 30 hours as opposed to 40. So the company wins, and the people feel like they're winning it as well. So
that's pretty cool.
Win-win situations help.
I was trying to remember this. Like, how did we actually like meet, connect? I mean, it's just through TikTok, but I don't remember. Like, I think like early on, like I messaged you or something, or.
A lot of people used to tag me and stuff, and I just like, let me check them out.
Right.
I just watch what you were saying. I'm like, cool, that's cool. And I just followed you, and then we just kind of end up. We were chatting a little bit here and there. We actually did a Zoom a long time ago.
Yeah. I think that's what it was. I think we chatted, or maybe we hadn't actually connected yet, as far as like on messages or something. And I did a one-on-one with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we chatted because I was in my laundromat.
Yep.
I was sitting in my laundromat chat with you. Yeah. And
That's
then
right,
I think we got in a group chat with Heather, and it was just like, hey, we actually live close together. Yeah. So Ben is like one of the who else have I met that I've known? Like 2 people I've met online that I've known from online. Yeah. Because another girl, we did live together because she lived like literally 5 minutes from me. We were just we're friends on TikTok, and she was like, it's just crazy out here, in North Carolina. I was like, I'm in North Carolina too. And she's like, where you live? I told her the city, and she's like, damn. We did an in-person live in my living room. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. It was a bit ago. That's when I first got started. I had again, about 30,000 followers on TikTok.
I'm like way behind on comments. I'm trying to catch up.
Oh yeah, they be flying through.
Does the narcissist think the victim is a bad person, or do they know deep down inside their victim is a great human being, but they want to think otherwise?
Yeah. So, hold on, let me see the question. It said, hold on, let me stop. Do narcissists think the victim is a bad person? I don't like. I'm not attracted to bad people. I'm not going to date a bad person. If I feel like you're a terrible person, I'll try to avoid your negative energy. I'm not, I'm not
Yeah.
going out the back like, damn, you're a terrible person. Let me date you. No, I'm not doing that. That doesn't, that doesn't logically make sense to me at all. It's just like, you're a terrible person. You cheat, you lie, you do the same stuff I do.
Mm-hmm.
Let's meet up. Now, I think who you are. I think who you are plays a role in how the relationship goes. If you're like an empath or a codependent person, that you are more apt to staying in a toxic relationship as opposed to somebody who has strong boundaries and things like that.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
What do you know about the financial abuse? I mean, for me, when I've talked to people, it's kind of like all over the place. It's, from the narcissist, like taking all the money, to the narcissist, like controlling all the money, to the narcissist leaving with all the money, to the narcissist being divorced and never giving you any money. Like there's a lot of different aspects about it that a lot of times they'll do. And then I guess the flip side aspect of a lot of narcissists that don't make any money and just, leech off of everybody else,
Yeah. There's a lot of moving pieces in that financial abuse part because a lot of people, the majority of people that I talk to are in the financial abuse situation where the narcissist is in control of the money, you know. But a lot of times, because that's the easiest way to talk about it. But sometimes you're actually the breadwinner, and they take your money. They use all your money for everything else, while they stockpile their own. So just so if they leave you, they have a nest egg they have a nest egg to focus on. So just like get control of your finances if at all possible, you know, because that'll help you in the long run. If you a stay at home mom or something like that, it's a little bit difficult. Like, I haven't worked in 20 years. What am I supposed to do? Talk to an attorney to see what alimony and child support will look like before you just up and bounce. Please protect yourself. I'm all about protecting yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, you just have to be careful because a lot of times once you leave, you don't get anything like alimony or child support. A lot of times they don't care and they just won't pay at all.
Mm-hmm. Some people want to go to jail, would rather go to jail than pay something. This is crazy. I ain't paying you $1. Just go to jail.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked to a woman today that was, she didn't want to put her, she didn't want to put her husband in jail because he would refuse to pay child support. She's like, he keeps saying that if I put him in jail, he's gonna lose his job and stuff like that. I'm like, his job don't really matter if he's not paying $0 to you anyway. So what does his job affect you? But no, everybody's situation is gonna be different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, for sure. Why is it on a very rare occasion will it still hurt and make me cry, even though I basically come to terms with what he is and mourn the marriage? So a lot of times when people have been separate from the narcissist for a period of time, they still have thoughts, they still have feelings sometimes, but a lot of times there'll still be like a trigger. There'll still be something that reminds them, like a taste, a sight, a smell, a location, something that'll end up like triggering them to think back on the relationship. And sometimes it can be like something very like conscious, and sometimes it can be kind of like subconscious, like not knowing like why am I feeling this way, why am I torn up about it. And sometimes like in working with people, a lot of times I work with people specifically with the trauma bond starting off of like dealing with those different type of triggers, dealing with stuff that makes them want to go back to this person when logically they know like this person's toxic, like I shouldn't go back with them at all.
A lot of people get into the situation when you get out of it. Like no matter how long you've been in it, been out of it, you start to ruminate about the relationship because when the silence comes in, like when you're at home at night, like you may be having a great day, but when that silence comes in at the end of the day when you're in your bed, all the thoughts come in there like, oh, I'm alone, I'm by myself. What are they doing? What could I have done? What could I have done better? How could I have changed myself to make their relationship work? And I just think a lot of people have to come to terms that if you're dealing with a super toxic narcissistic person that is unwilling to make any kind of effort to alter their behaviors, nothing you do would have changed it. Could you have prolonged the timetable of the relationship? Maybe, but it would still end the way it ended sooner or later. Like I feel like it kind of if you look at it from a different perspective, it's kind of a blessing that you got out of it the time you did, because you could have made some changes to stay in it a year or two longer and wasted more time in that situation. You know, that's how my mind be working on that right there.
Where's this other one? Oh yeah, this is a good one about the financial manipulation. Put on here, financial manipulation, also abuse of like them saying like, I pay for everything, you shouldn't complain or think anything about it because like I'm the one that takes care of you, puts a roof over your head, etc. Still abuse, still manipulation for sure.
Mm-hmm. Might say things like, I pay for everything financially, you are living a good life, so you should. Oh yeah, so that's what. So right there, a lot of times that's how a lot of narcissists and toxic people show love by gifts. Their love language is like presence, like physical presence, just being here. I'm here, aren't I? That type of stuff right there, and also like they're paying for stuff. Like I put a roof over your head. You should be grateful, and that's
you
it.
Should be blessed that you know me.
Oh God, yeah.
Right.
Woo. Yes. Yeah.
What does the final discard look like? My partner in question blocked me on everything, even though we have kids, because I found proof of him cheating, and he left, and I have no way of contacting him. Ugh. That's a rough one because when they get the chance to block first, then you never know when they might come back, and that's really frustrating sometimes because that's still an aspect of like they have like the last word, they have like control. And that's something to be really careful of because you never know when they might try to come back. So I normally say the final discard is when you block them and there's no way for them to come back. But that's something you're going to have to work on your growth and your healing to get to the place that when they do try to come back, you're going to be able to have all the tools necessary to be able to say like, hey, you have no hold over me.
Yeah, because I feel like if they block you first, you have no way of contacting him. That means you have to go through different channels to contact him. So honestly, I would play that game right there with you. I honestly would block you on everything and make you chase me down. I'm not saying not me right now, y'all. Me in the past, underwear me, I would have made you chase me down. Because if you chase me down, that means you're still interested in me. You still want me. So you had to go through all of that to find me. And now because you have to go through all of that, I think you still care about me. So I know I don't have to work hard to get you back. Now you're chasing after that person. I know you said we have kids because I found proof of him cheating and he left. I had no way to contact him. I feel like now you have to kind of, if you want some child support or something like that, some monitors, you got to get the courts involved, which you might not feel like might not want to do, but sometimes you have to do that. You have to go through that route. If he blocked you on everything and you have no way of contacting him, because this way right here, it works out. Him building his story against you is that like you won't let him see the kids. You haven't tried to contact him because you're blocked. He could just unblock you. Like, look, no, there's no messages from her in here. You've been blocked. So that's the way it be going right there.
Yeah, so this one I thought was interesting from Alina. Mine agreed to do couples therapy. It's on her to find the therapist, and she's going to schedule with me. So, I mean, that is one thing that I did start recently is not the one-on-ones, but the couples. I mentioned like don't go to therapy with a narcissist. So like I'm not a therapist, I'm not a counselor. It even says like when people go to schedule couples, it says schedule at your own risk because like I'm gonna be like flat out like blunt. And I've told spouses in front of the other spouse on a couples thing that like, hey, if this kind of abuse continues, like leave. I've said it right in front of them. You're cracking up at that, huh?
Because that's why I feel like we mesh well together. Because you say the same things I say, but you're just like, boop. You're just straight to it. I'll say the same thing, but you're just like, hey, you need to bounce. I'll be like, hey, if it doesn't get better, you might need to consider your other options.
No, like I should have said. I honestly like I think especially if the other person is exuding like a lot of narcissistic traits. Like sometimes I find myself like cussing the most in like couples, and like I don't cuss like a ton, I do more a little bit online now, but like in the couples, sometimes I'm just like, wake up, like. But I mean, honestly, I put the couples option out there because I was having couples that would contact me, and I would talk to the guy, and then I talk to the girl, and I'm like, no, like there's too much muddy waters of how much a narcissist can twist stuff. But you put them down in front of me with like both of them, and all of a sudden you see like the eye rolls, you see like the here we go again, like you see like the smirk, and I'm just like, oh, gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy,
Dude. I swear to God, that's what I like. That's what I have to do. So what I do a phone call here and there, yeah, when people who are uncomfortable, but I
mm-hmm.
love doing it over Zoom because I love watching people's micro expressions. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
Interesting, because when they say something and they just like eye twitch or something like that. Because like, I'll tell you something. When I first met my wife, I'm very very analytical. I met her on Facebook, but the first time we met up in person, she had a friend with her. She had a male friend and a female friend, where they were dating and living together and stuff like that. And I remember asking her, I was just like, "Did you and this dude used to mess around or something like that?" Because he just gave me a weird, like his eye twitched when I introduced myself. She's like, "How'd you know that?" I was just like, yeah, I'm very. And she's like, that should have been a red flag for me. I'm like, what? So you should have. I be watching everything. I watch people just look and how they move and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, for sure. This is for you. Hey, Lee, will you talk a little bit more about the similarities a narcissistic person will look for in a supply, and hopefully some advice on how not to allow them to trap us?
The similarities that they would look for in their supply. So sometimes narcissistic people, I feel like what you're asking, sometimes they have a type. Sometimes they have a type of person that they're looking for. Y'all might look alike, act alike, talk alike, have the same hobbies and things like that. Like the person he replaced me with looks just like me, which happens quite a bit. Like we could be twins. I like the girl I told you I did a live with in my house.
Mm-hmm.
Her narcissist and like the new supply, her narcissistic person's new supply and her are actually friends now. And they look just alike. It's weird as hell, dude. I was just like, and because they do TikToks together, I was like, God, this is eerily similar. I was just like, I do look alike,
Right.
And I tell people sometimes they do have a type, but you won't catch me on that either because I don't have no type. So you're like, well, you got a white girl now, and you got a black girl and Mexican.
Mm-hmm.
I'm everywhere. I bounce around, y'all. But hopefully some advice on how not to allow them to trap us. What do you mean by trap? Because I feel like sometimes people just like they trap me with a baby.
I think that might be the idea of like how does an I guess put labels on it so it's easier to think of, like how does an empath avoid being bait for a narcissist? It's kind of how I read that.
Bait for a narcissist. How do you avoid being bait? Say no. I just feel like so many people get into the people pleaser mode where you meet somebody that you like and you're scared to set a boundary and say no to something that you don't actually want to do. It's like if I say no, they might leave me alone. Perfect. If you feel that way, that's a red flag. If I say no to this, they might actually not want to talk to me anymore. Good. That's a red flag because like people should be able to take a no and just like, oh damn, sorry, like that. Look, didn't mean to cross that boundary. We'll try something else. But instead, you just said yes to something you didn't want to do, and now like let's have unprotected sex. Now you got a baby on the way.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't want to do that first, but they told you they're allergic to latex, and you just like, okay, cool, and then now you got a baby on the way.
Right.
They're begging you to please keep the baby, please, 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 and then you keep the baby and they abandon you. So, but now you trapped. So, the mind works weird.
Yeah.
Just curious, is it common for narcissists to stalk, hack emails? I just feel like my quick answer to this, like, you need to lock this person up. That's crazy as hell. Like, he admitted to not hacking. He admitted to paying somebody to hack my phone. That's straight to jail. That's just like that's a charge right there. Like,
I definitely say it's common for narcissists to stalk after like the discard.
Yeah, it is common. Because like even going delve into my past. Y'all done triggered me with this stalking question. I've watched people before, but not in no crazy, just like sitting across the street with some binoculars. I'm not. I haven't done anything like that. But I just remember my girlfriend broke up with me when I was like, what was I, 21, 22. I remember driving by her house. I remember actually, like, she lived in like this little apartment complex. I remember backing into the wall of a building, messing the back of my car up, trying to spy on her. I was like, damn, I'm crazy. I remember sitting in the park like, I'm crazy. Why am I doing this? This is like 21 years old. Like, why am I doing this? I don't really care about her. I just don't like the fact that she broke up with me.
Right.
I remember doing that. Insanity.
Yeah. I left 3 months ago. Yeah, he still lives in my house. He says it's his because he paid the mortgage. Any suggestions on getting him to agree to leave so I can return to my home? Unless there's like legal involved, I don't see a way to make him leave. If anything, you're kind of fighting a losing battle trying to get the narcissist to do anything, because it has to be something that comes from them. If it's not going to come from them, like, they're not going to do it.
So you left the house. You said, I left 3 months ago. He still lives in my house. He says it's his. I mean, if he's not, I just feel like the way you're talking, it feels like you're the only person on the mortgage or the lease or whatever. So I feel like you might have to force. I know some of y'all don't like to get down to the nitty gritty. Sometimes you have to force some of these bastards to leave. You got to force them because their words like, it's mine because I paid the mortgage. Like, legally, it's mine because I signed the document. So I just feel like, what do you want to do for real?
Right.
Yeah, I just feel like, what do you want? What do you really want to do? Because I feel like sometimes people don't want to ruffle. You don't want to ruffle the apple cart or upset this person and do things like that. So you got to kind of get to the point where what do you feel like you really want to do? Because sometimes you have to force them out of there. You really have to, because if you don't, you go down the yellow brick road of narcissism where you just end up, looking on the outside looking in of your own house. For what? The house that you might have got. Like I said, it really just depends on the situation. Everybody's situation is going to be different. But I truly feel like you have to take the steps to take your power back. You do. So
this one, I think, like, the main question here is, will his narc rage stop after 14 months of separation? Like, for a narcissist, like, they're not going to stop anything unless they get to the place of being self-aware, unless they get to the place of, like, trying to work on themselves. Otherwise, like, there's no time is going to change them. Time only kind of, like, further locks them into their habits and cycles, I think.
So they asked could they stop and said, my divorced narc is engaged after 7 months. He left the divorce to another state. Him and his new fiance are coming back. Will his narc rage stop after 14 months separation? Oof. My divorce narc is getting engaged after 7 months. He left the divorce to another. So I'm confused by the wording a little bit of this one. So he moved away after 7 months. He got engaged. Now he's coming back home. Do y'all have kids or anything like that? I feel like there's an important part because, like, would his narc rage stop after 14 months separation? Maybe, but I feel like separation is a word. Why did you say separation if y'all already divorced? Are you holding on to something? I feel like that word usage right there is kind of important.
Right.
Are either of you in contact with your narc parents, assuming you had one? So, my dad. I don't think he was. My dad was in my life, but he wasn't like the super present parent. You know what I mean? So he was the person I was always trying to get attention from. You know what I mean? He's the person I wanted to impress the most in life and things like that. My mom, she's not a narcissist. My mom, she's just not. I know narcissist people. She's not. She get on my nerves, yeah, but she's not a narcissist. My dad, on the other hand, he's just probably just experienced some childhood trauma that he went through, and he kind of just tried to pass it down. He probably passed it down to me, My dad's dad actually, I never knew my paternal grandfather, I know my grandma, but I didn't know his dad. I'm like, I never asked her what happened. I don't be caring, But I just like got on psychology. I mean, not psychology today. Ancestry.com and just kind of looked at my family tree. It just turns out my paternal grandfather actually, unalived himself at 5:30 in the morning on a Monday, and my dad found him. So trauma.
Yeah.
A
Trauma.
7-year-old young boy finding his dad with a smoking hole in his head, could create some trauma.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm still in contact with them though. Yeah. I hope this helps. That's the end of my TikToks. Jesus.
I'm like way behind.
I know. I think they be flying through.
Yeah. I think someone had the suggestion like last time we almost need to bring a third person on, like just to throw comments up,
I think they would have the way I think they would have to be the host though. I don't know how it works.
Yeah, because you can't click comments, right?
I can click one, then nothing comes up. So I think they would have to be the host, and then they would have to moderate, which is kind of be wild.
I wonder if I could give someone my login and they could log in at the same time, like be like another person be on this login. I don't know.
Perhaps. I mean,
All right. We're scrolling down to the bottom to get caught up here. Can a significant loss of family wealth during childhood produce a narcissist? Back towards like the money part. I mean, I guess I could see that if it's going to be something that's impacting the family in a traumatic way, but typically like just not having money is not going to produce a narcissist, maybe that changing the whole like life dynamic and, producing, that pain or trauma of like, I don't know, being tossed out on the street or, I'm not sure I could say like, losing wealth is going to automatically produce a narcissist,
Yeah, I'm not. That's what I say. I feel like losing wealth. I feel like let me say. I feel like maybe it depends on how you lose the wealth. Let's say you have a narcissistic parent that is wealthy, and you're just expecting an inheritance or something like that. Maybe they blow it to the point where like they don't give a fuck about you. But I'm not 100% certain how losing wealth can affect narcissists. Maybe it can make you feel like you weren't good enough to get some money or something like that. So you. Perhaps on the end of things like that. So, somebody said, notice how most narcissists are very analytical. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I saw that earlier. Yeah. Do you find that, like, with any narcissists that you talk to, as being, like, analytical?
The smart ones.
Yeah.
The educated ones. The unaware, uneducated ones try to be analytical. It's like they try to sound smart and analytical, but it just comes off as, veiled stupidity,
Right.
I'm smart, but I'm not at the same time.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of times you see, like, that kind of stuff where they're, like, trying to, like, bum off of somebody, and you're, like, or they're, like, trying to lie, but it's, like, really stupid. It's, like, how does this even make sense,
Mm-hmm.
Oops, I clicked on the wrong one. Yeah, I put it in there. Why do narcs get upset for just sharing narc awareness on your social media? I mean, really, it's just like you're calling people out, like you're calling a narcissist out. They don't want to, they don't want to admit or be honest with anything.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's just like I get a lot of narc. So I used to hashtag on Instagram cluster B personality disorder and stuff like that. Man, oh my God, I used to get the fucking worst narcissistic trolls on there. They were like, "You're stigmatizing us, man, you bastard." They didn't do anything. They were just like meme page, like meme. They were just sharing memes, and they were just saying that me, because I was trying to raise awareness to the actual personality disorder, I was added to the stigma by painting narcissists in a bad light. I was like, I'm not like, bro. I told them, I was like, what you just said is the essence of why narcissistic people get painted in bad lights, because you're blaming me for it. I'm just saying my own behavior. You're right now trying to pass the accountability to me, like I've done something wrong by pointing out what you've done wrong. And they hated that, so I had to block a bunch of people. I was just like, leave me alone.
And that's why I have to be careful about sharing anything about borderline awareness.
Oh God, yeah. I've been getting influenced. Can you talk about borderline personality? Like now,
Be like, I already saw Ben try that.
yeah. Just duet your video.
Exactly. You can get in trouble for reading the DSM-5. Um, Here's a cool one. I'm a narcissist. How can I remember the events I made myself forget? I think for me, like one of the biggest things of like if you have different sections of your mind that are kind of like locked off, I would definitely recommend EMDR therapy because that really dives below the surface and kind of I guess the best way I would describe it is it kind of like unlocks sections of your mind that are closed off or hard to figure out, and typically they're locked there with like trauma, but for a narcissist it can be several different things that kind of hides it.
I'm a narcissist. How can I remember the events that I made myself forget? Yeah, you gotta go to some therapy. Like my therapist, like we did like some meditation exercises where like, there was like and some imaginary balloons and all that other good stuff. And I was just like, but it helped pop those balloons, and it's just crazy because like that's the only reason I found out what kind of happened to me to make me who I am. So it's kind of like you have to take a step back into who you are and what you've been through, and that's the
Mhm.
toughest part about being a narcissist, not being in therapy. And like you said yourself, like when you come out of therapy after a tough session, you got to decompress. And a lot of people don't want to do that. You sit in the car. I was read that question.
I mean, I think a lot of narcissists look cool, because narcissism isn't something that's typically portrayed to like everybody.
Yeah, it definitely isn't.
So I think the only way that you can get to the place where the narcissist doesn't control you anymore is when you take back your power, when you take back your confidence, when they start understanding that like um, it's not about your reliance on them, but it's you being able to, move on yourself in one sense. But I wouldn't put hope in the narcissist just giving up and moving on because oftentimes they're comfortable in their chaos because they're the ones that created it.
Yep, control chaos. I just like
Mhm.
any hope of getting a narcissist just to give up. I feel like you got to. It's not, I'm telling you, sometimes you have to force these people to leave you alone because they just won't. They'll just try to exhaust you and then come back to them in some way, shape, or form. You have to just leave. You have to force it. Restraining orders, protective orders, whatever you have to do. Moving,
Mhm.
turning, changing your phone number, whatever you have to do to get people. Like they'll stalk you. Don't be afraid to call the police. Some people, I don't call the police. I'm like, all right, then deal with
Right.
them.
Having trouble. Oh, where'd the chats go? Oh, there you go. Having trouble definitively figuring out if my boyfriend is a narcissist. What do you think is one of the most important characteristics? I mean, there's several. There's technically 9. So, like, I would say first check out the DSM-5 and start looking through that. Because out of the 9 characteristics, technically you're supposed to have at least 5 to be like diagnosed a narcissist. But I would check out DSM-5. It has like some good information there to be able to see that. It's probably like the easiest way to be able to see that.
It really is. I'm gonna because I think
Yeah, go
Sky
for it.
asked the same question twice. But like the most important characteristics are what matters to you the most. And I'm glad you said 5 out of 9. So there's 9 characteristics. You don't have to be diagnosed with 5 to be a narcissist, to be literally a clinical narcissist. And so because there's 9 characteristics and you only need 5, there are 45 different combinations of traits that can make you a narcissistic person. So you're not going to get 2 people that are exactly the same traits. You know what I mean?
That's a good way to
Lack of
put it.
you know,
45 different.
lack of empathy
Mhm.
lack of empathy is one of those traits. But you don't necessarily have to have a lack of empathy to be a diagnosed narcissist. I don't say that a lot because people are just like, whoa, wait, you got that man? Yeah, you do, but you don't necessarily have to have that trait to be a narcissist. It's 5 out of 9. You can get 5 other ones and still have a
Mhm.
little bit empathy to be and still be a diagnosed narcissistic person. You know, 45 different combinations. I think combinations or permutations is one of them. I've been out of school too long.
Yeah, that makes sense. Is there a way to get the toxic person to unblock you? I guess part of the question is that like, why do you want the toxic person to unblock you? um, if it's to go back, like that's not really something you want to do. I mean, maybe I don't know. I'm trying to think of like how else you'd want the toxic person to unblock.
Um, Is there any way to get a toxic person to unblock you? Uh, I just sometimes like the best way to get them to unblock you is to kind of leave them alone, to make them actually miss you and want to unblock you. I feel like you can't force it unless you are actually trying to stalk that person and make them uncomfortable enough to unblock you to message you or something like that. I just feel like that's the only way you can go about doing that because like force you get a way to get them to do that. I just feel like that's kind of pulling
Mhm.
at straws right there. Just like yeah, there's a
Right.
few different ways, but like I feel like again, I feel like you got to ask your question: why do you want them to unblock you? And like, also to do that, it's like you got to do a lot of moving pieces. I just feel like leaving them alone, going no contact is the best way to get them to unblock you. Because I've blocked people before and they left me alone. I unblocked them like, you ain't chasing me. You're not gonna chase me.
Hmm.
My therapist said, "No, you already."
Oh,
You
sorry.
good? You
It like moved when I was clicking it.
good? Lee,
Watch.
watching you since June 20th. Finally left and told my ex narc no when he was calling me out of my name. He raised and broke idleness in my house. Got an order of protection. Well, good for you.
Hmm. That's
So
awesome.
6/20 is actually my wedding anniversary. So I don't know if that's like the devil date right there where everything rages out and the stars align on that date. Hell
Yeah.
gets unleashed on 6/20 because that's the day I got married on. But yeah, good for you though. But please be careful. Call it order of protection when it ends. They probably it's kind of like you ever seen the movie I Am Legend. If you ever see I Am Legend when Will Smith was like he was hurt, his leg got hurt, and the dogs was like waiting till the sunlight went away to attack him. That's how it is with narcissists and protective orders. They're waiting for the sun to go down to come back and get you. So be careful with that and watch the date. If you can
Hmm.
get it renewed, get it renewed. Don't let up on it.
Yeah, for sure.
How are you guys overcoming pathological envy? What are the new tools that you are practicing to be more content within yourselves? Why do y'all think I've overcome pathological envy? I'm envious of literally everybody I see online that's doing better than me. I'm be real with you. I haven't overcome it, y'all. I've just redirected it. I
Mhm.
haven't overcome the traits. I'm just redirecting my energy to live a better, more fulfilled life. My pathological envy. I feel like there's I feel like there's a difference between envy and jealousy. So I'm more jealous of people than I am envious. Because envy means you don't. Envy means like to me, it means like you shouldn't have it. I should have it. Jealousy
Okay.
means like you have it, but I want it. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
not trying to ruin you because I'm jealous. Envy means I'm trying to take you out of your spot to replace you.
Mm-hmm.
Jealousy means just like I deserve what you have. So I just feel like I'm more pathologically jealous of people than I am envious. I'm not trying to ruin anybody's life or just like I'm gonna pull you off the mountain so I can climb the top of there. Because like there's people who are here are more world known, renowned, self-aware narcissists than I am. I'm not trying to pull. I don't talk down on them and try to pull them off their platforms. I'm
Mm-hmm.
just literally trying to do my own thing. I see them. I'm just like I'm jealous of that success maybe on YouTube or some other platforms that they have. I'm like, how do I get that? But I'm not trying to down talk you to get there. So I'm just trying to transfer it into like I have a goal. I have a goal to go get. I'm very
Mm-hmm.
ambitious. I have a goal to go chase. I'm trying to run you down, not to run you down and catch you and pull you like I got you and pull you back. I'm just trying to like I'm right beside you. Let's go. Now I'm here. So
Right.
it's still there, y'all. It hasn't gone anywhere.
Yeah, that's a good way to answer it. Hey, I just saw on here like Scott just put in another one from his question earlier about how do you get the toxic person to unblock you? He said
Oh,
because she's got keys to truck and other things.
oof. You got keys to your truck and other things. Oof. That's it. Let me
If
think.
it was like just the house, I'd say just like rekey the house, but it's kind of harder with a truck.
With the truck, that's gonna cost some money right there. do you feel like so? I feel like in that situation right there, if you want, I feel like she has the keys to get you to reach out to her. I feel like the keys are now bait
Yeah,
because
but how's he supposed to reach out? Because she's
I don't know.
blocked him.
That's what I'm telling him because I feel like the keys are bait to try to get you to circumvent those blocks because now you look like a stalker. You know, because like now if I'm baiting the fish and you take the bait, now you look like you're stalking me. I blocked Scott on everything. He popped up at my house. He's dangerous. those keys don't matter anymore now. You look like the aggressor. So now you look like the person who's coming after her. So she can play the victim in circumstances like that. So like maybe if you want your keys back, I don't know if you're cool with her family or her friends or anything like that. Maybe just say, look,
yeah, maybe Scott, maybe contact the family, or maybe contact like a sister or something to be able to, maybe get the keys back. Maybe they can convince her to give them the keys. Maybe they can steal the keys back. Like whatever's possible. I don't know.
Yeah, I just feel like if you reach out to the family, just like, hey, look, I'm not trying to, just come at them. Yeah, I come in peace, like you are Martian. I'll come in peace. I just like trying to get my set of keys back. I don't want to leave these keys out here in the open into the public world, or she gives them to somebody to come get them. I'm just trying to get my keys back. Just do it like that. I just feel like that's the best way to go about doing it. But don't hound them, because like again, she might have already forewarned them. Like she might have already forewarned them to be like, Scott's a stalker. He's gonna try to reach out to y'all. So kind of be careful with that.
Do you know what I'm asking? Please share a link to join the group for Android link too.
I'm not, unless they talk about the Quill app. I'm not 100% certain, because I know Quill is apparently it's only iOS download only. It's like the little voice app I was talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what app. I don't know what their link they're looking for.
That's what might be they're talking about, because it doesn't have an Android link. It's just on Apple iStore. But I mean Apple, on the iOS store or whatnot. But like if y'all are looking for, you guys might have to private message me, because I'm not 100% sure what you're talking about. Shoot me a message on Instagram. Say, hey, this is Sahi from the YouTube.
Yeah, hit me check. Like I just saw this because I saw Christine answer something. But yeah, Myers-Briggs test. Well, now it's more or less called the 16 personalities. But like it doesn't really test for empathy. If you take like the DISC or the Myers-Briggs, StrengthsFinder, Enneagram, like there's not ones that really like they don't really have like an empathy test, I guess you could say. The DISC personality would have something slightly similar, which would be like S is more like steadiness on the DISC, I believe, and the S is a little bit more like if you have a very low S, then that could be possibly like signs for like less like empathy. But like the Myers-Briggs stuff, it doesn't really have anything that stands out for empathy. So I've done a lot of the personality stuff. Probably the one that I'm the biggest fan of is Enneagram, because it tells you a lot more about a person than what you would expect. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, so I that's why I'm super ignorant on the personality test. I just take them so when people ask me, I can just tell them. I haven't looked into them. When I used to do network marketing, I used to look into them a little bit more than that. Just like, are you a red or a blue or whatever personality type you have? Just, learn how to approach you and try to sell you a vacation or some shit.
Right. My wife just recently became self-aware. I have a video of her cheating and she doesn't remember. How can I tell if she's lying and find out who they are?
Oh, she doesn't remember her cheating. I just feel like I feel like right there. Do you want? So let me read this real quick. My wife just recently became self-aware. I have a video of her cheating and she doesn't remember. How can I tell if she's lying and find out who they are? So I feel like digging deeper into who they are might probably make you want to leave your wife alone, honestly, because I feel like she's hiding it for a reason. Because like, yeah, she forgot who she forgot who she cheated with. Has it been that many? You blacked out and cheated on me. Like, was it a different? You ever see the movie Split? Was it Patricia? Did somebody else cheat on me? I just feel like in that situation right there, I feel like she knows who it was, and she doesn't want you to know who it is, because it might be somebody close to you, which is about to make you rage out. So I feel like. Is it worth it digging deeper? Possibly, but I just feel like, is it worth working on it? If she's going to, because if she becomes self-aware and she's still lying about that, because no, she didn't black out the whole cheating. So she blacked out the whole text messages or phone calls to get to the cheating. She forgot about all of that. I feel like that's self-awareness does not mean honest. Just to keep it real,
Right.
I don't know. Something happened.
Do you guys cry? my guy couldn't cry, and I thought it was odd. Now, I've seen this with a lot of narcissists of like people saying that they don't cry, and like for me, like tears weren't like a bunch of stuff, at all growing up, and for the majority of my life, and I'd say like my family would kind of like make a joke about it, like oh like it's actually like tearing up or whatever, like better write this down on the calendar because it wasn't something that happened.
Yeah. So me, I'm actually an actor and I can cry on cue. I'm gonna cry for y'all in the next few seconds. Give me a second. I'm not I'm not gonna do that. But yeah, sometimes like yeah, I've cried before, but it takes a lot to get me to cry, honestly. And sometimes narcissistic people they will cry just to manipulate you.
Mm-hmm.
They'll be boohoo crying and still be lying.
You posted a link for iOS users. Is that the Quilt app?
That's the Quill app. I don't think it's on iOS. I think it's just. I don't think it's on Android. I think it's
on
just
Android.
iOS.
Okay.
You might have to get your iPad or something like that.
There you go. This one's for you.
Lee, I asked Ben earlier on TikTok, but you didn't ask me. Cool. Strike one. Since you worked on you for a while, do you get tired of working on yourself? Do you get defensive if your wife says you're acting narcissistic? Or you don't think you are. So question number one, do I get tired of working on myself? No, I actually like working on myself because I was doing that before the self-awareness journey because I just feel like knowledge has helped me get to the point where I am right now. Increasing my knowledge base has helped me bring a level of understanding to myself and to my platform, that has helped me heal, heal and help heal other people, help me forgive, things that have happened in my past that maybe should be unforgivable and things like that. Question number two, do you get defensive if your wife says you're acting narcissistic? It really just depends, because I feel like she's so well versed on narcissistic terms. She's like, you're gaslighting me. I was like, who in this household knows more about gaslighting, me or you? It just goes into that right there. So I do get defensive sometimes, but it doesn't escalate to the level where it used to be escalated for argument.
What about if she accuses you of doing something narcissistic and in that moment you're not?
That's annoying because like that's kind of the dilemma I face. I tell people sometimes like because I'm admitting to being a narcissist, I have to work. I have to work harder to tell the truth now. I have to work not to tell the truth, to prove I'm telling the truth.
Yeah.
Which is weird. It's just like I'm telling the truth. You should believe me because it's the truth.
Right. Yeah. Or like I feel like online is like a huge one of like, oh, like I just triggered the narcissist because of their response or something like that, and I'll be like, no, like you didn't even come close to triggering me. I'm just like answering your question. Like my personality is like a whole lot different than just like the narcissism like coming out. But sometimes people are like, oh, like narcissist is attacking me right now, and I'm like, no, like you would know if I was actually attacking you.
Yeah. Yeah, because some people get to that mode where but when they say stuff like that, that seems like they were intentionally trying to trigger you. Trigger Ben, being triggered, y'all. He's a narcissist. Watch out. told y'all not to trust him. Like that, like that dude that was from earlier. He was trying, just like, well, I triggered some flying monkeys of Lee Hammocks. I'm like,
right.
Anybody who says anything in defense of me is automatically labeled a flying monkey.
Right.
But that's been the same way for a while, though. Lee Hammocks, flying monkeys come to my page. It's kind of funny nowadays.
Do you think narcissists use what they learn on our channels to further manipulate people?
Sometimes I think when you as I'm not saying you particularly, Sarah, but when survivors share videos with narcissistic people, yeah, sometimes you open yourself up to people using our videos to manipulate you more. You see, this is why Lee is not telling them the truth about our situation right here, because I don't do this to you. I don't yell and scream at you, which doesn't necessarily disqualify them as a narcissist. It just means that they're more covert. Right. I've never yelled at you in a day in our marriage. Even though you've been doing a lot of things wrong. You said just a statement like that. Even though you're rarely ever right, I've never yelled at you. And it's like, well, Lee said narcissists yell, so you're incorrect right there. So they just use my video to flip it on you. So, and that's why I go earlier, not all narcissists. do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Lee having a flying monkeys. That's hilarious right there, y'all. Yeah, that's hilarious, Scott. For
That's awesome.
that's
All
funny.
right. I think I'm getting ready to wrap up.
All right, like I said, we down here in a second. Mine froze on Scott's first question. I asked his is still on my screen right now.
Mm.
Man, I mean the YouTubers, not the survivors. Somebody said I mean the YouTubers, not the survivors. I think she added on to the last question.
Oh, yeah,
YouTubers,
probably you.
yeah.
Notice a lot of YouTubers.
I've noticed a lot of people that are talking about this topic are not supportive of each other because it's a dog eat dog world in the world of narcissistic healing and abuse. Because people are instead of people working together and banding together to create a cohesive unit that can work together and bounce ideas off each other and work together, a lot of people are just competing with each other. Like Lee Hammock's stupid. Watch me instead.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, instead of just coming to me, hey Lee, hey, I'm gonna share this idea with you. Can we work together? Instead of doing that, which will work better for you, instead of just coming at me and attacking me, like broad motivations, lion's not sheep. He's an asshole. You should listen to me instead. Instead of just coming to me and talking to him in a private message or something like that, you try to out him and attack him instead of working with him because she
Right.
that particular person didn't say you were saying anything bad. Like he gives good advice. That goddamn shirt, you know. Instead of coming at you and talking to you, people shoot themselves in the foot.
Gigi, I don't see your question. Throw it back in the chat. This one, he raged also because I found in his journal that he started a relationship with me for financial gain, which I knew this several years ago. Financial abuse is real. Yeah.
Yeah, that happens. I have a personal experience with that. Not with financial gain, but because I'm an actor and I used to write stuff in my acting notebook, right? Because you have to have certain experiences to get in the character with. So I used to write stuff in my acting notebook about other girls, like I feel this way, but it's other girl, just to help me get into this mode. And my wife would read my notebook and she'd get mad. I was like, why are you reading my shit? Stop going to my shit. I'm like, rah, you know what I mean? I'm just like, stop. Literally. I can't leave shit laying around.
Mm-hmm.
Here's
a good one for like the one-on-ones that we do. So as narcs, how do you stay interested in the details of other people's stories in order to be able to help? How can you help if empathy is such a challenge?
So I think the lack of empathy actually helps me talk to people more because I remove the emotional component of it and come from a logical standpoint. And I think logic helps people more when you remove emotions. A lot of times, I feel like logic helps people a lot of times more because people can cry and stuff like that. I'm like, cool, you can cry. You're a human. You can cry. You can feel okay to cry. I'm a human too, but I don't do that crying. I don't cry a lot, and this allows me to listen to them and pick apart what they're saying. Like, whoa, you see what you just said?
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like the lack of empathy actually helps me. It benefits me in some ways. Like talking to a robot.
I feel like for me, it lets me sit down and like do like 5 appointments and then walk away, and I don't feel like messed up in the head, like hearing everyone's trauma. Like it's easier to be able to step away, but it doesn't mean that I'm not like trying to help them work through it.
Yeah.
I think how you mentioned it there is like sometimes like with the very like analytical mindset, it's like breaking it down.
Yes.
And like a good example was like just the other day when I was working with someone on one-on-one, like we started dealing with like the feelings and emotions and trying to get down below that to find what's underneath the surface. And what was under there was the aspect of like a feeling of unworthiness because the narcissist didn't hoover. And I was like, what's your definition of hoover? And it turns out like hoover was like the idea of like they thought hoover meant care. And I was like, hoover doesn't mean care. Hoover means control. Like they want control back over your life. So the fact is like what's really underneath the surface is you're saying like, hey, I feel unworthy because they didn't care. I was like, that's a whole different conversation, but like just being able to like get underneath that. Like, I feel like a lot of times I wouldn't be able to get underneath that if I was distracted with empathy, I guess you could say.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. Cause like, do you care about certain, I care about certain situations like, damn, that sucks. But here's why you're going through this. I just like, it helps. I care something. I don't have not any, there's not zero. I have something to do. Yeah. I just you just turn. I can turn the knob down. Like I can turn the fan on low instead of on high like most people are. You know, the fan blow. It's still blowing. It's just on low.
What am I missing? I'm missing something from this Gigi's comment. I see Lee Raw Motivations, please answer my question. Okay, here I go. And then the next thing I see from Gigi is he's done it to me twice.
I think she broke up into two segments. Cause I saw.
And then the next thing I think is no, he is mocking me and blaming me for the breakup. He on top says I should move on. He's so heartless. I'm broken for my son. Does it not show? Like, is it like a super long comment and it doesn't show?
I think I saw a second part of hers, but it sounded like she was responding to something else, like she was adding on to something.
I don't see it. This is weird.
I'm scrolling up trying to see if I see her name, but I think she came in and she said, "Yeah, I didn't." She said, "Yeah, I didn't miss it." I think that's the first thing she wrote.
Yeah, but down after that, she says, "Please answer my question," but I don't see it, and I asked her to repost it. And I don't see it.
Chris Cassie, can you repost it right there? Because Chris Cassie said she reposted a question above. Chris Cassie, can you repost it? She said he done it to me twice, and then she says,
she said I had to approve the comment question. I don't see it on my end. Maybe it's because we're using Streamlabs and not straight with YouTube.
I'm not certain. Like Chris Cassie, can somebody repost it? I know Chris Cassie's still in here. She wants to know why he cheats. Okay, I feel like there's. Yeah. I had to approve the comment question. Okay. Is Chris Cassie a moderator? Just.
Yeah, she is.
Scroll up. Says scroll up for the first GZ count. Yeah, we scrolled up. And he know he is mocking me and blaming me for the breakup. He is on top, says I should move on. He's so heartless. I'm broken for my son. That's what you see that?
Okay, yeah. And then she said that he was a baby daddy and he cheated for 3.5 years. She wants to know why.
See, I don't see that part. I just see the second.
Well, I'm reading someone else's comment of it. The resource girl and Nicole Abernathy, they both put it. There's another comment above that talks about him breaking up and having sex with other women, and scroll up. Yeah, it's not there for some reason.
Yeah, Chris Cassie, if you can just copy it and paste it. Like I feel like you copy and paste it. Because I feel like I didn't see a question in it. I feel like
I am, but I don't know how to repost the question. Just make it as a comment. I don't know why.
And
I was trying to pull up the live like on my phone so I could see because it's not like coming up.
Yeah, because all I see is and he know he is mocking me and blaming me for the breakup. He on top says I should move on. He's so heartless. I'm broken for my son. So I feel like if they're cheating on you,
I can't watch my own live because it doesn't pull up on my phone. Oh yeah, here he is. I can't watch my own live because it doesn't pull up on my. Shut up. Let me see.
She said she was with her baby daddy for 3.5 years and he keeps leaving her to cheat. So I copied the resource girl said that is the question. Said she copied and pasted it too. So there is another comment above that's talking about him breaking up and having sex with other women. And scroll up the resource girl.
There it is. I found it. That's so weird. I don't know why it didn't come through on this end. I was with my baby daddy for 3.5 years, but he kept breaking up with me just to date and have sex with other women. My question is why?
Because if he broke up with you to have sex with other women, is it cheating? Is it really cheating? If I wasn't together.
I see all the comments around that. I don't know why that one didn't.
I feel like the intentional breakups are just to say he didn't cheat because y'all wasn't together while he was doing it. No. That's why he's just like, instead of cheating, I'm just gonna break up with you and go have sex and then come back to you. Because that wasn't cheating, we were broken up. Semantics. Is it still cheating? What's your definition of cheating? If it's an intentional breakup to cheat, to sleep with somebody else, then yes, he has the intent of getting back with you. Then yes, that is still cheating. Yes, it is heartless. But if you keep accepting him back after he keeps going to break up with somebody else, he's going to keep doing it. You said you're so broken for your son. What about you? I feel like you're more focused on you than your son. Because what about you? Because your son is going to be in it regardless. But what about you and your own personal happiness? Because the more what you allow is what will continue. 3.5 years of the same thing. You expect the behaviors to change for some reason now. You gotta kind of ride with that. He's done it to me twice. So third time's a charm. We're gonna do it again. Like those are patterns. That's establishing the pattern right there. Hey Gigi, you get on my nerves today. I'm leaving you. And he go clap somebody else's cheeks and he come back to you. I'm better now. Let's stay together. Let's have a baby. Let's keep our.
They're like accelerates. Let's get married now.
Yeah. Because releases demons.
Oh, resource girl threw this up here. So figure we could answer that, maybe like one more, and then we
Okay.
probably cap it for the night. I'm out of tea.
It says, what did she say? Do you guys want to become certified counselors, or do you have some certificates already? Do you think that it's important to your presence here? So I'm working on beginning life coaching certification and things like that, but it's not necessarily important because we're literally just having conversation with it. We're not doing therapy or anything like that. We're literally just having conversation with people about their personal experiences.
Mm-hmm.
We're not diagnosing anybody. I'm just talking about myself and my predictions on people's behaviors. Just analyzing people's behaviors from a personal standpoint. Do I want to get life coaching certified? Yeah, but as far as going back to school, becoming a licensed counselor, I don't see that in my future because it doesn't benefit me.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess like for me, like I feel like there's an aspect of like being able to come on here and like share our stories in one-on-ones and be able to share stuff that like works or that helps or like is able to help people in different ways. I feel like is, I don't know, in one sense like easier sometimes than, going through a certification or something that's going to hold you to a different standard. In one sense, like I'm able to say how it is. I'm able to say in couples counseling, like, hey, if he's abusing you, then leave. Like, not everything is like applicable with other aspects. I know for me, like if I look into, becoming like a certified counselor or something, it has to be something that for me is going to mean something and is going to be big, I guess you could say. So like I would want it to be in like a particular genre. Like I'd want to become I'd want to be like high up in like, some of the warrior group movement of like how to actually like work through, stacking and communicating that. Or I'd want to like partner with like Brendan Burchard with like Growth Day to pick up like a life coach, like with them, like something that's like, that I know is like not big as far as like big name, but I know has like big purpose. Like I'm not a person that I'm going to go out and like get like a certificate or something like that just to have one. I guess technically if I needed one, I could like say, I have like a college degree in like pastoral studies, but I don't advertise that to anybody.
Yeah.
But
it's like I have a degree too, so I could go back and I could be a licensed counselor in probably 2 years, but it's just like, do I have 2 years to? Yeah, like I said, I recommend people to therapists all the time. I just like, look,
yeah,
you might need to go to therapy. This is more than I can help you with. It's like my mom used to do that. I was like, I got a therapist for you right here. Get on psychology today and battle.
right,
and deal with that right there. But I was like, license, to each their own.
Yeah, absolutely. So, anyways, what time is it? 10:40.
Yeah.
So, you got early morning ones?
No, I cut those off for the next 2 days. I need a break in the morning. Right?
Yeah, I think I just have a 5 a.m.
You got a 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Oof. So I've been doing. I've been varying at the times I do them.
Oh, yeah. Someone scheduled another one. I've got oh gosh. Yeah, so I've got a 5, a 5:45, a 6:30, and a 7:15. Like 4 half-hour like back-to-backs.
Yeah, back to back. So
that makes it the biggest. That makes it a record week, like biggest week. Let's see. 25 appointments this week.
Okay, nice. Like I say, you can definitely increase that if you wanted to, but like
that's crazy.
Just
well, once we get going full time, it'll definitely open up. So second week of May, my schedule will be open up a lot more for people to do one-on-ones and things like that. Because right now, I've like you mentioned like earlier, like right now you already have people like scheduled out. Like next week, because my wife and I, we're going out of town.
Yeah.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Like my Sunday through Wednesday is already full. Like there's no room for anyone else to book. And the following week already has like 5 appointments.
Yeah.
Following week is our webinar. That's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, is it? Oh, dang.
Two weeks from today. 2 weeks
Yeah.
from today.
If
Yeah, if y'all haven't looked at it.
you shout it out.
Yeah, if y'all haven't looked at it, it is a webinar coming up here. I'll throw the link in here as well. But how to overcome and recognize narcissistic abuse. So the two of us have the privilege of being on the panel with a bunch of awesome people as well. So I'll drop the link in the chat as we're like finishing up here. Y'all can check it out.
Okay, yeah, perfect. Like April 6th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live webinar post. Me and Ben will be on there chopping it up with actually, y'all want counselors? We have actual 2 licensed therapists, counselors on there, and also that have experience and have dealt with narcissistic abuse. We also have 2 coaches and survivors as well on that same panel. It's gonna be a great experience, y'all. April 6th. The link is on Ben's page. The link is on my page as well. Y'all, mental illness, all platforms. 3 S's on Instagram. But
Yeah, I had a super chat come through, so I'll like put this up real quick before we get off here. Is it possible for you to help make an unaware narcissist become aware? So I would say from like a person that's in the relationship, like definitely not, because it has to be like their choice. It has to be like their choice to be able to come aware, and you can't convince them. You can't, manipulate them to end up getting to that place and doing it. I don't know how much Lee talks to him, but I know that I do talk to a couple narcissists every once in a while. I currently have like 2 narcissists in like my coaching packages. That are going on like multiple times. Like I meet with them like weekly, and a lot of narcissists that come and talk to me don't come back. I see that a lot, and so for the several that have come back, I told them, I'm like, hey, I'm willing to invest the time, and invest the effort in trying to help you better yourself. But you also have to put in the work and you have to be honest. Otherwise, nothing's going to happen.
Yeah, so I've talked to other narcissistic people as well. The first narcissist I ever spoke to one-on-one was actually Ben. Yeah, so
really, I'm surprised you never had one before that.
So right after you, I had a few come on there. But after I talked to you, it was just like it's kind of people just like boop, boop, boop. It was like, hey, you talk to men too? Like, yeah, I talk to men and women. Like, women can be narcissists as well. I know you see 2 men up here talking about being narcissists. Women can be narcissistic people as well, So, y'all, if you're a man out there, you feel like your voice is being unheard, narcissistic women can be narcissists too. So be safe, protect yourselves.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Thanks so much. Check out the webinar. Check out our pages. We got those links, and y'all have a great night.
All right, man. All right, Ben, man. Be safe.
Take care.
All right.